Man, I'm glad it's some daylight and I want to get off work because I'm really digging this natural light look. Anyway, y'all, welcome back to the channel. This is video 2 in a 3-part series on 9 to 5s. Last week we talked about the good. If you haven't seen that yet, go check that out first and then come back to this. Because today, we're talking about the bad and the ugly.
You're one ugly motherfucker.
I mentioned in a previous video that my worst fear in life is to work a 9 to 5 for the rest of my life. And I wasn't kidding. 9 to 5 to me is like that monster under the bed that keeps trying to lure kids in so that it can snatch them and keep them forever or eat them or something. Peekaboo! As I'm sure many of you do too, I think about being able to quit my job to pursue my dreams almost every single day. Honestly, it's probably a little unhealthy how often I think about it, but it's also my driving force and it's the reason why I stay consistent and why I'm doing YouTube, so... Anyway, at this point, I think I've made it pretty clear that I'm not a fan of the 9 to 5 lifestyle. But I do want to say that if you are, that's okay, I guess. And that was kind of the point of the first video, because our economy does need people that are working 9 to 5 jobs. And if you're happy doing it, or if your goal in life is to just get a good job and go about things in a more lackadaisical manner, then more power to you. Couldn't be me though. So let's jump right into why. First and foremost, when you're working a 9 to 5, you have basically zero flexibility and freedom. I mean, it's in the label, right? 9 to 5. You work 9 to 5. You're not on your own schedule. You have to be there at a certain time. You take lunch at a certain time. You take breaks at a certain time. You go home at a certain time. You're also not necessarily working on any project that is meaningful to you. I mean, unless for whatever reason you're super passionate about analyzing data for a local company in your hometown. But for the most part, you're going to be doing work that doesn't really fulfill you, and there's going to be no way around that because it's part of your job. And again, to build on the fact that you're not on your own time, you oftentimes have very little control over when you can take vacations. And that's because your vacation time is limited. You may get 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and oftentimes it depends on tenure, not even like the work that you're getting done or the caliber of work that you're getting done. Truthfully, this is a very huge pitfall for me because there's very little things that are more annoying than not being able to go to breakfast with your family in the middle of the week without prior approval from another adult. We're adults, right? Why do we need approval from other people to do things that we want to do on our own time? Make it make sense. And yeah, maybe some jobs are a little more flexible because they have remote work or they have no set hours, but the reality is most companies aren't like that, so... Alright, reason 2, monotony. This one may not be a huge deal breaker for some people because I know some people like routine in their lives. They enjoy patterns. They like doing the same thing over and over again and they're happy with that. Cool. Again, that ain't me. But if you're watching this, there's a high likelihood that you agree. So not only are you already working on projects that you probably don't really give a shit about, but you're also doing the same thing over and over and over, day in, day out, looking at spreadsheets, crunching numbers, writing reports, stuff that really adds no value to your life whatsoever, and it's just mind-numbing. And for someone like me who relies on creativity for doing things outside of work, YouTube, there's nothing worse than doing the same task over and over because it kills creativity. There's nothing going on in your mind that's stimulating, and so by the time you get off work, you're just brain dead and all you want to do is sit down and relax and just decompress from all that boring work that you did for 8 hours. And that really sucks. I know that one hit home for you. Anyway, reason 3 is limited time for personal interests or pursuits. Let me break it down like this for you. There's 24 hours in a day. We sleep for 8 hours, we work for 8 hours. But work is a little more nuanced than that because you have to get ready, you have to drive to work. And my job adds an extra half hour at the end of the day, so I'm really there for 8.5 to make up for lunch. But we'll say it's about 2 hours extra for prep and commute to work. That's 18 hours gone already. Just like that. And so what this means is you have only 6 hours for family, friends, fun, and anything else that you might want to do outside of your work life. And that doesn't even include things like cooking and eating, showering, going to the bathroom. So really it's less time. But if you're balancing all of those things, when do you ever have time for a side hustle or a personal project? You kind of don't, and so what you have to do is make time, which means that you have to sacrifice some of the time that you spend doing other things. For me personally, I sacrifice sleep. I probably average about 6.5, 7 hours of sleep every night, and I've been doing that for about 3 years so I can manage it. But some people really do need 8, and I get that. So maybe for you that sacrifice might be spending less time with friends, and that sucks. But it's also just kind of what it is if you're working a 9 to 5, really. By the way, if you're interested in seeing how I balance my 9 to 5, YouTube, and my personal life, let me know in the comments and I can make a video on it. Okay, reason number 4 is going to be workplace politics. Now this one really does depend on where you're working and who you're working with, and honestly it's probably more common in an office setting, but if you ever had a job where you had to deal with workplace politics, then you know what I'm talking about. The biggest problem with workplace politics is that they often stem from the top, right, upper management. So when you're dealing with it, you really have no one to turn to. And what ends up happening is they create this toxic environment that's conducive to just general petty behaviors, and it's just honestly really annoying. And the behaviors can vary, right? I mean, it can be as simple as withholding information from someone, to lying to someone, to spreading rumors, to like forming alliances against particular people. Honestly, it's super freaking childish behavior, and it's the most annoying thing to see when you're dealing with adults, but yet it happens. Personally, I ain't got time for that. Okay, well, this wasn't originally going to be part of the video, but I'm at work right now. I'm on a break. And since we're on the topic of politics, I just wanted to note that, for politics to affect you, it doesn't have to be even something that's directly related to you. Like, these things have a way of coming full circle. And so even if you're not the one that's dealing with the office politics, then problems can still arise because the people that you're working with are. And so, they may feel jaded about a certain thing, or they may be pissed off about, the way they're being treated. And that can affect your relationship with them because maybe you're not being treated the same by the people that are being assholes, I guess, to put it bluntly. If y'all can't tell, this is kind of happening as I speak. And it's just really, really annoying. And it's something that you deal with in a 9 to 5, which in a situation like this is virtually unavoidable because I'm not even the person involved. But shit happens regardless. Needless to say, I'm irritated. I'm just tired, man. All right, the fifth and truthfully most important reason why you should reject the 9 to 5 status quo comes down to your dreams versus theirs. And I've already mentioned how a 9 to 5 gives you very little time to work on your own interest, pursue your dreams, work on your own goals. But the truth is, when you're working a 9 to 5, you're helping someone else achieve theirs. The tasks that you're doing are allowing them to realize their vision. You're telling me that for 8 hours a day, you're gonna go to a job you hate, doing tasks you hate, to help someone else achieve their dreams, but you're not gonna work on anything of your own? Nah, that ain't it, chief. At this point, it's not even about having time, it's about making time. Are you gonna have to sacrifice some time that you'd probably put somewhere else? Yeah, but it is what it is. It doesn't even have to be a lot of time. You could do 30 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, whatever you can manage. But you better do something. Your future you will thank you. All right, so everything I've talked about so far sucks. Trust me, I know. I've had jobs that'll suck the life out of you, and I've had managers that all they want to do is belittle you and bring you down. But on the flip side, I've also had some jobs that were kind of fun. And I've had some managers that were truly kind and wanted to see their employees succeed, even if that meant that one day they would leave them for bigger and better things. Regardless of how you look at it, the reality of the society that we've built is that in order to live, in order to pay your bills, in order to support yourself, you're gonna need a job at some point in your life. And in this job market, it seems like it's harder than ever to get a good paying job. But lucky for you, I'm gonna help you do just that. That's what the next video in this series is gonna be about, how to interview better. So be sure to tune in next Saturday. But in the meantime, check out this video and everything else on my channel, and I'll catch you all next time. Peace.